What's up, guys? It's your boy Zebby. In today's video, man, this video is going to be about how no game will ever top Ultima Online, okay? No game will ever top Ultima Online. So, Ultima Online is definitely the greatest game of all time. I think GTA would come second. And the reason that it's the greatest game of all time is because it was an open world sandbox like Grand Theft Auto, right? But the thing about Ultima Online is that everything would save. So in GTA, if you park a car, right, and if it's not a saved vehicle and you park a car, you drive down the street, the car will disappear if you come back, right? Ultima Online is not like that. It's an open world, just like GTA, but everything is saved. And you can have thousands of players, thousands and thousands and thousands of players in the same map. Whereas GTA 5 online, right? GTA, you can only have 30 to a couple hundred players. So that's the difference between Ultima Online and GTA, is you can have thousands and thousands and thousands of players in the same world map. So it's literally insane. There's not a bigger game. Yeah, in Ultima Online, right, you could own a house. You could find a house location anywhere on the map, as long as there wasn't too many trees in the way or plants or vegetation. You could build a house. You could place a house, and you could store all of your loot, all of your items, all of your gold, all of your armor, all of your weapons, all of your furniture. You can move your furniture around everywhere in your house. There was no limitation to where you could put your furniture. You could put it here, you could put it there. You could put your weapons on the floor. You could put your weapons in a box, in a container, in a bag, in a chest. You could, you know what I'm saying? There wasn't really that much limitation. And this game came out in 1997, guys. 1997. You can't even do what I'm talking about on GTA. You can't just build a house on GTA. You can't just place your house anywhere on GTA. You can't even loot people on GTA. You know what I mean? You can't do any of that without mods. So my point is Ultima Online is the greatest game of all time, and it will never be beat, because the game was a 2.5D game. So it wasn't 3D, it wasn't 2D, it was 2.5. And it's the only 2D game, 2.5D game, 2D game that I would ever play, because it's the greatest game of all time. And the reason it's the greatest game of all time is because when you hunt, everything is one world. Picture GTA, right? You could go hunt dragons, hunt ogres, trolls, all these different things. It's like the greater version of World of Warcraft. It's the greater version of The Witcher 3. It's the greater version of Lord of the Rings. It's the greater version of Dungeons and Dragons. And what's that name? Elder Scrolls. The Elder Scrolls 5. Ultima Online is better than all of these games, and it's a 2.5D game. It is literally the greatest game of all time. So you could tame dragons. You could have pet dragons. You could have pet bears. You could have pet everything. Almost every animal in real life, every cool animal in real life was in Ultima Online. And you could have them, and you could keep them at your house. You could stable them. You could take them to the stables, and they would store them there. This game was unlike any other game. It's better than GTA. It's better than literally the Elder Scrolls, Witcher 3, World of Warcraft. All of these games don't compete. It's literally a joke compared to Ultima Online. It is the most slept on game ever. And yeah, man, so you could hunt dragons, you could kill dragons, right? You could loot them, and every item in the game, this is huge talk, every single item in the game, right? You could loot it. You could store that item in your house. You could store it in your backpack, and you could pick it up. You could pick up all the items and move them around. You could put them in your bank. Now, I know it doesn't really make sense, but for a video game, it makes sense. You could go to the bank in game. There was a bank, and this is where all the players would hang out. and you would go to the bank and you'd put all of your items in the bank, your gold, your weapons, your armor, and this thing called reagents, right? These reagents would allow you to cast spells and to do magery, right? So super cool, right? And you would store all of this in your bank. So my point is, you would store items in your bank, you would store items in your backpack on your character, and you would store items in your house. And it would fall on people's, their corpses when they died in the game. So you could loot other players, you could loot other monsters, everything that they ever achieve in the game, that they get, everything that they ever achieve in the game, you can take it from them. And this is another thing, right? You can store all of your loot, right? Everything that you ever achieve in the game in your house, right? And in your bank. But the thing is, if you don't log on to the game once every 30 days or once every 2 months, your house will demolish. It will collapse. Like, it will decay, right? Like in real life, how a house, if you don't, take care of it, it will decay. It'll collapse. It'll fall in on itself. So in Ultima Online, your house would fall in, collapse, cave in on itself, and all of your loot would be all over the ground. And there would be thousands, hundreds of players that would come like an event, like it was a Fortnite event, right? Like literally that bigger. And all of these players would wait for the house to fall because they know it would fall because the sign says that it's about to collapse. So everybody would gather around and the house would collapse. So everybody would fight over the loot. You'd have hundreds of people killing each other, fighting for this loot. And there's this thing called a gate travel on UO, Ultima Online. And you would open this portal, right, to this, and you could open a portal to your own house. So it would basically teleport you to your own house, which is across the map in the same exact world. And everything is real time in this on Ultima Online. So you'd go through the portal, you grab the box, you grab all the loot that you had, and people would follow you through the portal, trying to take your loot, trying to kill you for it. So my point is, man, is that everything about Ultima Online, the trading system, you could trade all of your items. You could open a trading window. You just drop whatever you want to trade with another player. You drop it on them. You just hover the item or weapon, whatever it may be, clothing, anything, and you drop it on the other player, and it opens up a trading window. And now you can trade for gold or for items or whatever. And so it had the best trading system, it had the best looting system, it had the best inventory system, it had the best housing system, it had the best banking system, it had the best guild system, it had the best taming system, it had the best hunting system, it had the best of everything, man. And it's literally, like, in my opinion, this might sound crazy, but it's literally the Elder Scrolls. It's literally The Witcher 3. It's literally World of Warcraft. It's literally GTA. It's literally every great game put into one. It's literally the greatest game of all time, and nothing will ever touch it. The only way that it would ever, the only game that would defeat Ultima Online is if GTA, right, Rockstar Games, if they made a 2.5D game with modern graphics. It's the only way, and they'll never do it. No one will ever do it, I promise you, not in our lifetime. It's just not going to happen. If it hasn't happened yet, it's not going to happen ever. And the thing is, the game was probably less than 2 gigabytes big, or like, it's a small game, like, so it's like you got all of this jam-packed into one game. It's the greatest game of all time. It had the best looting system, the best inventory system, the best banking system, the best housing system. I don't know a single game, guys. I don't know a single game. I've looked them up. Rust, all of these different games, right? Where you can place a house, where you can build a house. But it's just not the same as Ultima Online, because you would place a house, right? And the world would fill up with so many different houses, right? The world was very big on Ultima Online, but eventually you would run out of room. So eventually you would have to buy a house. and the house would cost more than it would be to place the house because all of the other house spots were taken up. So there would be like this real estate market in the game, and you would have to compete for the best housing. So if you had a house near the best dungeon, right, like Death Guard or some of the Despise, right, those houses were worth the most money. It would be millions and millions of dollars in game. But the house only cost $60,000 to place, to build, right? 60,000 gold. But because that the game world was full of houses, the economy, and there was a really great economy. I promise you, I literally promise you, there's not another video game with an economy as great as Ultima Online. There will never be a game that ever competes with the economy of Ultima Online. And it was a player-driven economy. Big game developers, right? They will never allow the player base to establish the economy, okay? Because they want to own it. They want to own the system. They want to make real-life money off of the video game. So the fact that they let the player base determine the economy, what everything was worth, is literally insane. It was like giving all of the power to the player. Ultima Online was the greatest game of all time, and no game will ever top it. Okay, you can drop all these modern games with modern graphics. Yes, they may look better than the game in a sense, in a way. But at the end of the day, it's just not a better game. It's just better graphics slapped onto it. But the gaming mechanics, the looting system, the inventory system, the economy, the trading system, the housing system, the crafting system had a great crafting system. You could craft armor. Oh, and let's talk about that. You could craft armor on the game. You could craft weapons. You could craft clothing. You could craft like basically anything, right? And you would basically you would create a vendor. You would open up a vendor shop. It was called a vendor shop in Ultima Online. You would create a vendor shop and you would have an NPC, a non-player character, and you would put everything that you want to sell on that vendor and you would set it as a price. So basically, I love Ultima Online. Basically, you could start your own store in the game. So you can place your own houses, you can start your own store at your house, and sometimes you can do it in town too, in the cities, in the towns of the game. And you would be able to do that too, depending on what server or version of Ultima Online you played, right? But yeah, so you would have a vendor shop and you would sell rares and items and different things that you get around the world, and you could sell it on a vendor. So everything that you ever get in the game, everything that you achieve, you can trade it with other players, and everything in the game, every every single item in the game can be stored in your backpack. Every single item in the game can be stored in your house. Every single item in the game can be stored in your bank. Every single item in the game can be traded to another player. So everything in the game has value. Like everything is huge. It's not like these modern games where you have all this stuff on you and you can't trade it. You can't store it anywhere. You can't do anything. It's like this invisible inventory system. Like in Ultima Online, you had an inventory system that wasn't invisible. Like people could open your backpack, like your backpack on your back in game. They could open your backpack, look what you have, and they could steal it from you. Like there was a skill in the game called stealing. So they could steal whatever you had on your player. It was literally insane. So everything was up for grabs in Ultima Online. Everything that you ever had in the game could be taken from you or stolen from you or traded to another player, or it could collapse in your house and you could lose it unless you put it in your bank, right? Or the item was blessed, right? If the item wasn't blessed or in your bank, it could be taken from you. It could be stolen from you. It could be lost or destroyed or decay. So yeah, man, Ultima Online is the greatest game of all time. No game will ever top Ultima Online. I promise you. It will not happen. It is the best game of all time. So let's talk about the different kinds of characters you could create. So when you created the game, you could choose a warrior, right? So a swordsman or a fencer. Or you could become a mage, right? Or you could become a blacksmith, right? And I'm pretty sure there's a couple others, or a maester. There's different things you could choose from. So you had a 700 skill cap, which means, and you can only have 100 skill of each one of those skills. So if I had magery and fencing, right? I can only have 100 magery and I can only have 100 fencing. So then I got 500 skill points left. So I can choose 5 other skills. So you have 7 skills. So you choose, do I want to be a crafter, a mage, and a thief, or whatever you want to choose. Or a carpenter. You could become a carpenter. You could become a tailor. You could become anything. You could craft. And you could create a store in the game and sell all this stuff. The game is literally insane. Like, there is no game that will ever top Ultima Online. And the only reason that the game is dying is because it's getting older and it's got a lot more competition with modern graphics. And the original people that played Ultima Online, they're all getting older. All of these people are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, possibly even 70s. The thing is, I started this game when I was like 7 years old. That was back in like 2006, 2007. So the game came out in 1997. So I only started playing the game like 10 years after it came out. So I'm a little late on the scene, guys. I didn't even play the original Ultima Online when it first released. I was 8, 9, 10, 11 years late to the scene. So, Ultima Online is the greatest game of all time. Tell me in the comments below, what was the greatest thing about Ultima Online that you loved, and also that isn't in any other modern game? Please tell me, guys. Tell me what you loved about Ultima Online that you have never seen in another video game. It was the ultimate sandbox. It was the first major multiplayer game, RPG, MMO. So, MMORPG. It was the first major MMORPG. You had thousands of players. In 1997, guys, you don't understand. Back then, you didn't really have online games. It was the first, one of the first games that have thousands of online players in an open world online, and that could stand next to each other in game. Absolutely insane, guys. It's the best game of all time. Now, I tell you right now, the graphics, I love the graphics, right? But it might be outdated to many, or you would think, right? But don't let those graphics deceive you. You are looking at the greatest game ever made. This isn't opinion. This is a fact, because no game has ever featured all of these features, has never had all of these features in one game before. Because when you make a 3D game, right, you are limited, right? So there's a game called Ark, right? It's like some dinosaur game. It's one of the only games where you can pick an item up and drag it in real life. So like in real life, picture yourself picking up a box, right? In real life, you pick up a box. You're holding this box and you can see it in your hand, right? This is how Ultima Online was, but it was a 2D game. You could pick things up and you could hover it in this hand, right? Ark is one of the only games where you can pick things up and put them down and put them in certain places. But it's so limited, guys. Ark is so limited, and it's missing all of the different features, the trading system, the looting system, the inventory system, the housing system. It's missing the full economy. So every game that does have a couple features that Ultima Online still has, it doesn't have all of the other features. So Ultima Online is one of the only games. It is the only game that holds every major, crucial, critical feature that a game needs to have. It set the bar in gaming. There literally isn't another game that comes close, right? The only other game that I play to get that feeling is Grand Theft Auto 5 Online. And I'm telling you guys right now, it doesn't even come close. And I love Grand Theft Auto 5 Online. I do, because you have an apartment, you have, all of this stuff. And on GTA 5, right, you buy all your clothes, you buy your house, you store it in your garage, you store it in your apartment. This is why I play Grand Theft Auto, because it's the closest thing to Ultima Online. Like, you could say World of Warcraft, you could say this, but there is no housing system. You don't store anything, right? Like, GTA 5 Online is the closest thing, because you can have your own garage. You can put your own car in your garage. You can buy clothes in it. It's stored in your wardrobe at the house, right? But on GTA 5, right? On GTA 5 Online, you can't put your clothes on the bed. You can't put your clothes on the floor. You can't put your clothes in a box. You can't put your clothes on the dresser. You can't put your gun on the dresser. You can't put your guns under the bed. You can't do any of that, right? You can't take all of the rares and stuff in game that you achieve, and you can't put them all over your house in game, right? It's stored in this invisible inventory system on GTA 5 Online and other many online games. You can't store anything that you get anywhere in your house. Like, you can't customize your house on GTA 5 Online. You can't move your dresser here. You can't move your bed here. You can't put your fridge over here. You can't move your oven. You can't move like your car into certain spots, right? Everything has a pre-designated location and an invisible system. So when you go into your wardrobe, it's this invisible menu in GTA 5 Online where all of your clothes are stored. But in Ultima Online, you would go into your house, you would open your door, there was no loading screen. That's what I'm saying. Guys, in 1997, there was no loading screen. You would walk into your house and you would open up a chest and you would have a bunch of clothes, and you could move the clothes around. You could put it in your backpack. You could put it on the floor in the game. You could put it in a trading menu with another player. You could put it in your bank. You could put it in your clothes in another player's house on like a table or on the floor or on a desk or on a chair. You could move everything around. Everything in the game you could engage with. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Every single item in the game you could engage with. Imagine in GTA 5 Online, if you walk inside of your house without a loading screen, and you could put an RPG just laying on the hood of your car in your garage. You could put sticky bombs in a chest in your house in GTA 5 Online. You could have a pet that you just leave in your garage. You put a food bowl. Like, my point is, in Ultima Online, you could move everything around. Like, you could create your own house. Like, picture your room right now. Picture your bedroom or your house, whatever. You can move your desk around. You can move your couch around. You can move your fridge around. You can move, like, you can move your toilet, your shower. You could move it. You could rebuild everything. That is Ultima Online, right? In real life, if you hand me, let's say you hand me a cup, and you can hand somebody a cup. You open a trading window and you hand it to them. And in Grand Theft Auto 5 Online and most other games, 99% of them, you can't just hand another player something. And the trading window and all of these other games that you can do that, it's like lackluster, it's boring, it's lame, it's just not it. So my point is that in Ultima Online, it felt like a real living, breathing world. It was the closest thing to real life. Now, I know that sounds so nerdy, so geeky, so silly, right? But Ultima Online is the closest thing to real life. Now, you're like, oh, look at the graphics. Don't let those graphics fool you. That game is so advanced for the time it came out, and it is still the most advanced game till this date. All of the modern games are just copy and paste slop. It's just this 3D character in this generated world, and then, you barely engage with anything. It's very boring. Like, once you play once you play Ultima Online, every other game pairs in comparison. It's literally boring. It feels like it's missing so much. But the reason I love Grand Theft Auto 5 Online is because it is the closest thing to me to Ultima Online. It really is when it comes to the inventory system, when it comes to, the housing system. And unfortunately, there's not a trading system. Unfortunately, there's not a looting system. And this is what I'm so excited for about GTA 6. I'm hoping that GTA 6 implements some of these. I'm hoping that GTA 6 implements some of the most important features and systems that Ultima Online had, which is the looting system. I want a realistic looting system on Grand Theft Auto 6. I want a realistic inventory system on Grand Theft Auto 6. I want a realistic trading system with other players on Grand Theft Auto 6. Maybe even a crafting system, okay? And I want the world to not have loading screens. I want the world to be a real place. Like in Ultima Online, you would place houses. Everybody was living in the same world. It wasn't an instance. It wasn't a generated session. On Grand Theft Auto 5 Online and all of these other games, these are generated sessions. These are instances. These are, these fake sessions, right? But on Ultima Online, you were in one breathing world. Like if you logged out your character would still be standing where you left, and 100,000 other players that log in could find your character. They could find where you're at in game, and your character would disappear after 5 minutes after you logged out. But they could kill your character while you logged out. That's what I'm saying. There's a living, breathing world, and you are actually in the world. It wasn't a generated session. It wasn't a generated instance. Do you know what I'm saying? This game was living. This game was breathing. You could interact and move things. You could tame all the creatures, everything. You could engage with literally 99% of things in the game. In these other big games, you can't engage with 99%. Like, let's say I'm on GTA 5, right? And I go into a story mode character's house. Everything in the house is locked into place. Like, I can't engage with anything. Do you know what I'm saying? And like even the NPCs in GTA, right? You can't sell anything to them. You can't buy anything from them. You know what I mean? That's another thing in Duo. I can't mention everything in this video, but you could buy things from all of the people in game and you could sell it. You know what I mean? So Ultima Online had every great feature that a game could possibly need. Ultima Online had every great feature and system that was crucial, that was critical, that was necessary, that was engaging in that game. It had everything a player could ever possibly want. There's no game that will ever top Ultima Online. Now there is still free servers, player-made servers on Ultima Online, but it is not the same as when they released Ultima Online. The only free server that is closest to the original, I'm pretty sure, is called Ultima Online Renaissance. It's a free server, a free shard, and you could download that, you could play that. But, if the server owner dies in real life, then the server is going to go down, guys. So it's just a shame. But Ultima Online is the greatest game ever. No game will ever top it. And I'm going to enjoy GTA 6. But at the end of the day, GTA will never be Ultima Online unless if they implement all of the features that I mentioned in this video, it will be the greatest game of all time. GTA 6 could beat it. I just don't see it happening. I'm hoping that Rockstar creates a medieval game. I really hope that they do. It would be insane. I'm not saying it would beat UO, but it would come close. In some ways, maybe. Yeah, man. And like for example, I want to say one more thing. When you're hunting in the game, you would go kill a bunch of dragons, right? Let's say I kill 3 dragons. I tame a bear. I tame a polar bear. I'm riding a horse. I tame a horse. I get on my horse. It was like the original first Red Dead Redemption. Like, you know what I mean? It was the original Red Dead 2. And so let's say I go in a dungeon. I go kill a bunch of dragons. I tame a dragon, right? I loot all the gold, the armor, the weapons, everything off the dragon. Then I run out front of the dungeon. I loot the dragon. I run like 20 feet in game, right? And then 5 reds show up. They had these player killers, they called them PKs, player killers, and they would kill you and take your loot. They would take everything that you ever made in the game, and they would stand outside of your house in the game. They would stand outside of your house in the game, and they would like scream. They would laugh. They would mock you. They would literally sit outside your house, taunting you to come outside your house so they could kill you. Like, so you would hide in your house in the game. You would hide in town. The only safe place in the game where players couldn't kill you is at the bank or in town where there are guards. There were guards everywhere. So if a player attacks you, they would just kill the player and jail him, basically. And so, yeah, man, the only safe place in the game was your house and in town, in the cities, in the game. So it was just crazy, man, because you would go out, you would hunt, you would tame other animals and creatures and all of this different stuff. You would craft. You could be a pirate. You could be a treasure hunter. This is all in a 2.5D game. Greatest game of all time. No 2D game even compares. So when you think of a 2D game, I don't want you to think, oh, that's a horrible game. I want you to think that I want you to think that Ultima Online is an invisible 3D game. It's literally a 3D game that's invisible. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I'm just saying, like, that game was way bigger than people will ever know. And I feel so bad. I feel so bad for all of these gamers, quote unquote gamers, right? That play Fortnite, that play Minecraft, that play GTA, right? And all of these other modern games, right? That have never experienced Ultima Online. They don't know what gaming is. Oh, you've played FPS your whole life. FPS is really good. But first person shooter, right? That will never compare to Ultima Online. You know? It's just, no game will ever top Ultima Online. It will not happen. But thank you guys for watching, man. This is your boy Zebby. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in those comments below, what were your favorite features, your favorite systems, your favorite things in Ultima Online that I forgot to mention in this video that shaped the greatest game of all time, Ultima Online. What were the best features in UO in Ultima Online that made it better than all of these modern games? We had to beat down the doors of all of these gaming companies and let them know that, like, these systems are necessary, that they are critical, that they're so important, because without these systems, gaming is not the same. It will never compare to Ultima Online. It just doesn't. And that's why everyone has this empty void in their heart, like in their gaming heart, that can't be satisfied. This hunger that will never be satisfied. Only Ultima Online could satisfy that hunger, that thirst, that need, that desire. UO was the greatest game of all time. Ultima Online is the greatest game of all time. No game will ever top Ultima Online.